The award, which includes a cash prize of $5,000, is now in its 23rd year and is given annually to the best first or second book of poetry published in the previous calendar year. The first stage of judging involves the talented graduate students in the VCU MFA in Creative Writing program who select a list of finalists, which is then sent on for the selection of the winner from that list by the MFA poetry faculty here, including David Wojan, Kathleen Graber, and myself. Many thanks to everyone who participated in the judging. We will have a brief Q&A session following this evening's reading by Ilya Kaminsky, when I will pose questions which were submitted in advance by VCU students and faculty. We wish to thank the sponsors of the Levis Reading Prize, the VCU Department of English, VCU Libraries, Barnes & Noble at VCU, and the VCU College of Humanities and Sciences, with additional funding provided by the family of Larry Levis. For their invaluable assistance in making the arrangements for this evening, I also want to thank Gregory Kimbrell, Assistant Director of Communications and Public Relations for VCU Libraries, who spoke to you earlier. And at this point, I'll repeat his request once more that you please kindly mute your microphone, as we are indeed making a recording of this event. And thanks as well to Tom Dodato, our department's graduate programs advisor, who also serves on our faculty. And many thanks to this year's Levis Reading Prize coordinator, whom we refer to by the honorific title of the Levis Fellow, a truly outstanding graduate student in our MFA program, Colin Bales. And Colin will now introduce the Levis Reading Prize winner.
Thank you, Greg. And thank you also to AJ White, who was last year coordinated the Levis Reading Prize and supervised the early judging for the award. And thank you all for being here tonight and making time to celebrate poetry. As this year's Levis Fellow, in addition to handling the submissions and the first rounds of judging for next year's Levis Reading Prize, I have the honor tonight of introducing the winner of the 2020 prize, poet Ilya Kaminsky. Ilya was born in the former Soviet Union city of Odessa and arrived in the United States in 1993, when his family was granted political asylum and settled in Rochester, New York. He graduated from Georgetown University and holds a JD from the University of California's Hastings College of the Law. Currently, he holds the Bourne Chair in Poetry at Georgia Institute of Technology and lives in Atlanta. Deaf Republic, Ilya's second full-length poetry collection, and the collection we are here to celebrate tonight, was published by Grey Wolf Press in 2019. The collection was awarded the LA Times Book Prize, the Anise Field Wolf Book Award in Poetry, and the National Jewish Book Award. And it was named a finalist for the National Book Award, the National Book Critics Circle Award, the Penn Stein Award, the Kingsley Tufts Award, the Forward Prize, and the T.S. Eliot Prize. Deaf Republic begins with a prologue poem entitled "We Lived Happily During the War," a poem which opens with the lines, "And when they bombed other people's houses, we protested, but not enough," and closes with, "In the street of money, in the city of money, in the country of money, our great country of money, we, forgive us, lived happily during the war." What follows is essentially a two-act play in verse that opens with the shooting of a young deaf boy, Petya, by a soldier in the occupied town of Vysenka, and the gunshot renders the entire town deaf. In frank and austere, yet highly lyrical verse, Ilya chronicles the aftermath of the shooting and how members of the town come together and perform small yet courageous acts of protest against an oppressive regime, while others refuse to participate, instead remaining silent to the atrocities that unfold. All of which, of course, is the result of the murder of a child at the hands of essentially an officer of the law. Between these moments of resistance and the devastating acts of terror with which they are met in the name of freedom, Ilya reveals the tender intimacies of the citizens' private lives. A child is born and later takes its first steps. Weddings and lovemaking are remembered and recounted. One poem questions, "What is a child?" and answers, "A quiet between two bombardments." The book reminds us over and over again that to love is perhaps itself an act of resistance against oppression. Deaf Republic is, at its core, a book of rebellion, but it is also one of silence, Not only the silence of the townspeople who lose their hearing, but also silence as a symbol for the fear and cowardice to stand up against injustice, our collective silence in the face of atrocity. In a recent interview with Garth Greenwell, Ilya said, "That image of a shot boy lying in the middle of the street is central to Deaf Republic. Of course, the book is a fable, but it begins and ends in the reality of the United States. It is a warning of what we might become, of what kind of country we have already become." Throughout the collection, we are presented with a world that is not our own, but bears a striking resemblance to the one we inhabit. An image that appears early on in the book, and again in the closing poem, is of the dead boy's open mouth, a mouth in which we see the nakedness of a whole nation. In these lines, the stark truth of a country and the suggested truth of America, its failures and its shortcomings, is stripped bare for us, its citizens, to witness and to confront. I'll leave you to ponder during Ilya's reading a couplet that appears toward the end of Act 1. At the trial of God, we will ask, "Why did you allow all this?" And the answer will be an echo, "Why did you allow all this?"
I hope it's okay before I read the poems. I just want to thank the judges, Kathleen Graeber, David Bojan, Gregory Donovan, for this honor. It's truly an honor to be here with you today and to receive an award that's named after a hero of poetry, Larry Levis. I'm very humbled and grateful. Thank you. Without further other commentary, I'll just read the poems. We live it happily during the war. We live it happily during the war. And when they bombed other people's houses, we protested, but not enough. We opposed them, but not enough. I was in my bed, and on my bed America was falling. Invisible house, by invisible house, by invisible house. I took a chair outside and watched the sun. In the 6th month of a disastrous reign, in a house of money, in a street of money, in a city of money, in a country of money, our great country of money. We 35 live it happily during the war. What follows are some pages from Deaf Republic, which is a story that begins with a pregnant woman and her husband at a public gathering. They see a soldier shoot and kill a young boy, and in response to that violence, they see the town protest by refusing to hear the authorities. The protest is sometimes coordinated by sign language. So here we begin with a gunshot. Gunshot. Our country is a stage. When soldiers march into town, public assemblies are officially prohibited. But today, neighbors flock to the piano music from Sonia and Alfonso's puppet show in Central Square. Some of us have climbed up in the trees. Others hide behind benches and telegraph posts. From Petya, the deaf boy in the front row sneezes. The sergeant puppet collapses shrieking. He stands up again, snorts, shakes his fist at the laughing audience. An army jeep swerves into the square, disgorging its own sergeant. Disperse immediately! Disperse immediately. The puppet mimics in a wooden falsetto. Everyone freezes except Petya, who keeps giggling. Someone claps a hand over his mouth. The sergeant turns towards the boy, raising his finger. You, the puppet raises a finger. Sonia watches her puppet, the puppet watches the sergeant watches Sonia and Alfonso. But the rest of us watch Petya lean back, gather all the spit in his throat, and launch it at the sergeant. The sound we do not hear lifts the cause of the border. As soldiers march, Alfonso covers the boy's face with a newspaper. 14 people, most of us strangers, watch Sonia kneel by Petya, shut in the middle of the street. She picks up his spectacles, shining like two coins, balances them on his nose, observes this moment. How it convulses. Snow falls, and the dogs run into the street like medics. 14 of us watch. Sonia kisses his forehead, her shut a hole, torn in the sky. It shimmers the park benches, porch lights we see. In Sonia's open mouth, the nakedness of the whole nation. She stretches out beside a little snowman napping in the middle of the street. As picking up its belly, the country runs. Alfonso in snow. You're alive, I whispered to myself. There for something a new listing, something runs down the street, fails to get up. I ran, etc. with my legs and my hands behind my pregnant wife, etc. down Vasenka Street. I ran. It only takes a few minutes, etc. to make a man. Darkness and insurgency begins. Our country woke up next morning and refused to hear soldiers. In the name of Petya, we refuse. At 6 a.m., when soldiers compliment girls in the alleyway, the girls slide by, pointing to their ears. At 8, the bakery door is shut and soldiers see Ivan's face, so he's the best customer. At 10, Mama Galia shouts, no one hears you, at the gates of the soldiers' barracks. By 11 a.m., arrests begin. Our hearing does not weaken, but something silent in us strengthens. After curfew, families of the arrested hung homemade puppets out of their windows. The streets empty, but for the squeaks of strings and the tap against the building of wooden fists and feet in the ears of the town. Snow falls. Alfonso stands answerable. My people, you were really something fucking fun. On the morning of the first arrest, our men, once frightened and bound to their beds, now stand up like human mutts. Daphnis passes through us like a police whistle. Here's an eye, testify. Each of us comes home, shuts the wall and the stove and the refrigerator and asks himself, forgive me. I wasn't honest with you. Life to you, I stand answerable. I run, etc. With my legs and my hands, etc. Run down Washington Street, etc. Whoever listens. Thank you for the further on my tongue. Thank you for our arguments that end. Thank you for deafness, Lord. Such fire from a match you never lit. That map of bone and opened valves. I watched the surgeon turn, a deaf boy take iron and fire in his mouth, his face on the asphalt, that map of bone and opened valves. It is the air, something in the air wants us too much. The earth is still. The tower guards with cucumber sandwiches. This first day, soldiers examine the years of our bartender's account and soldiers. The wicked dance, silence dance to soldiers. They take Gora survive from her bed like a door of a bath. Observe this moment. How it convulses. The body of the boy lies on the asphalt like a paperclip. The body of the boy lies on the asphalt like the body of a boy. I touch the walls, feel the pulse of the house, and I stay up wordless and do not know why I am alive. With a dozen cities on and die between leaders and guardians and a wrought iron gate. Be courageous, we say, but no one is courageous as a sound we do not hear with the birds of the water. Before the war, we made a child. I kissed a woman whose freckles aroused the neighbors. She had a mole on her shoulder, which she displayed like a medal for bravery. Her trembling lips, man come to bed, her hair, water falling in the middle of the conversation, and come to bed. I walked in my barber shop of those. Yes, I leaved her off to bed on a chair, left my hair in arms, but parted lips. My parted lips lying under the cushions, so near the things we did. Soldiers say in the past. Soldiers say in the past. They fire at the crowd of women fleecing to the nostrils of searchlights. My God, have a photograph of this. It's the piazza's bright air. Soldiers drag Peter's body and his head banged the stairs. I feel through my white shorts the shape of our child. Soldiers drag Peter up the stairs, and homeless ducks then, as philosophers understand everything and bark and bark. I now on the bridge with no camouflage of speech, a body wrapping the body of my pregnant wife. Tonight, we don't die, and don't die. The earth is still. A helicopter amongst my wife on earth. A man cannot flip a finger at the sky because each man is already a finger flipped at the sky. Lullaby. Lullaby. Little daughter, rain, water, snow, and branches protect you. Whitewashed walls and neighbors' hands. Oh, child of my Aprils, little lord of 6 pounds. My white hair keeps your sleep lit. While the child sleeps, Sonia undresses. She scrubs me until I spit soapy water. Pig, she smiles. A man should smile better than his country. Such is the silence of a woman who speaks against silence, knowing that silence is what moves us to speak. She throws my shoes and glasses in the air. I'm of deaf people and I have no country but a bathtub and an infant and a marriage bed. Soaking together, that is sacred to us. Washing each other's shoulders. You can fuck anyone. But with whom can you see it in water? Poem, bombardment. Poem, bombardment. My body runs in a loam of street, my clothes in a pillowcase. I look for a man who looks exactly like me, to give him my Sonia, my name, my shirt. It has begun. Neighbors climb the trolleys and the fish market break all their moments and have trolleys burst like an intestine in the sun. Pavel shot, I am so fucking beautiful, I cannot stand it. Two boys still hold tomato sandwiches, hop in the trolleys, lights so dear, same at their face in their ears. I can't find my wife, where is my pregnant wife? I, a body, an adult male awaits to explode like a hand grenade. It has begun. I see the blue canary of my country. Big breadcrumbs from its citizen's eyes. Big breadcrumbs from my neighbor's hair. The snow leaves the earth and falls straight up as it should. To have a country so important. To run into wars, into streetlets, into loved ones as one should. The blue canary of my country runs into walls, into streetlets, into loved ones. The blue canary of my country watches the legs as they run and fall. A cigar. Watch. Vasinka citizens do not know they are evidence of happiness in a time of war. Each is a repeat out document of laughter. Watch, God doth have something to tell that not even they can hear. Climb a roof in a central square of this bombed out city, you will see one neighbor gives a cigarette, another gives a dog a pint of sunlit beer. You will find God like a damn pigeon's beak. I am pecking every which way, but astonishment. Parent squad. On balconies, sunlight. On poplars, sunlight. On our lips. Today, no one is shooting. A girl cuts her hair with imaginary scissors. The scissors and sunlight, her hair and sunlight. Another girl nicks a pair of shoes from a sleeping soldier, covered with light. As soldiers wake and gape at us, gaping at them. What do they see? Tonight they shot 50 women at Lerner Street. I sit down to write and tell you what I know. A child learns the world by putting it in her mind. A girl becomes a woman, and a woman her body. They blame you for all things, and they seek in the body what does not live in the body. The townspeople watch them take Alfonso. Now, each of us is a witness that Vasenka watches us, watch for soldiers, throw Alfonso Brabinski on the sidewalk. We let them take him, all of us, covers. But we don't say. We carry in our suitcases, our coat pockets, our nostrils. Across the streets, they wash him with fire hoses. First he screams and he stops. So much sunlight. A t-shirt falls off a closest line, and an old man stops, picks it up, presses it to his face. Neighbors line up to watch him drown on the sidewalk like a vaudeville. Ta-da! In so much sunlight, each of us is a witness stand. They take Alfonso, and no one comes up. Our silence stands up for us. And the last poem that brings us a little closer to this moment, it's called In a Time of Peace. In a time of peace. Inhabitant of Earth, for 40,000 years, I once found myself in a peaceful country. I watched the neighbors open their phones to watch a cop demanding a man's driver license. When the man reaches for his wallet, the cop shoots into the car window. Shoots. It is a peaceful country. We pocket our phones and go to the dentist to pick up the children from school to buy shampoo and basil. Ours is a country in which a boy shot by police lies on a pavement for hours we see in his open mouth the nakedness of the whole nation. We watch others, watch. The body of a boy lies on a pavement exactly like the body of a boy. It is a peaceful country. And it clips our citizens' bodies effortlessly the way the president's wife trims her toenails. All of us still have to do the hard work of dentist appointments, of remembering to make a summer salad, basil, tomatoes, it is a joy, tomatoes, and a little salt. This is a time of peace. I do not hear gunshots, but watch birds splash over the backyards of the suburbs. How bright is the sky? Are the avenue spins on its axis? How bright is the sky? Forgive me. How bright. Thank you.
I'm going to pose the questions that we had discussed a little bit before that were presented by students and faculty here. Since you just read that last poem of the book, I'll start with the second question we have here. The first and last poems of Deaf Republic, We Lived Happily During the War and In a Time of Peace, provide an overall context for the book's central two-act play. Those bookends are the only poems in the book which suggest that you, the author, are their speaker, and stylistically they are different as well. Those poems address your readers rather directly, including them as we. And while we are encouraged to engage with the fable of Vasenka, we are also at the same time being reminded of the close resemblances of that imagined world to the past and present of America. Did you know before writing that you wanted to provide that connection, or did that develop along the way as a response to the present day conflicts we are facing in the United States?
Thank you very much for this question and for having me here in the first place, of course. To respond to the question, it's really more than one question that you're asking, and I'll try to unpack it a little bit. Can you guys hear me at all? Are you following? Yeah, okay, good. So the speaker, the author, is not just in the first and last poems in the book, it is also the we of the town as well. The author is very much a part of the we of the town. The book has these heroic figures, larger than life heroic figures. Mama Galia, who leads the protest, Sonia and Alfonso, who stand up as well. But I, the author, speak from a part of the we who watches and does nothing. So much of the tone, the emotion of the book, for me, has to do with that. It is not really the book about heroes. It is the book about everybody else who is not heroes, for me. But there are many questions really in your question. And one would be, did I have the knowledge ahead of time what it is that I was writing about? And I would say that we all write out of our deepest obsessions. I think once upon a time, before 20th century, before late 19th century, there used to be a concept of muse. And then what happened? Freud happened. And now we're talking about obsessions, not muses, right? So we write about deep urgencies and obsessions, and lyric as a medium is a medium of urgency. Whether it's a poem about crisis or a meditative poem, a quiet poem, a lullaby, an elegy. And I try to have different kinds of poems in the book, but all of those come out of some kind of urgency, some kind of need to speak. And for me, that urgency is, of course, in Ukraine, where I come from, but also in USA, where I lived when I was writing this book. I lived on San Diego on the border, and right now, the border is very much in the news. But what you see in the news today always happened on the border of this country. So it's very much a book that speaks to both for me, to both of those parts, the Ukrainian part and the American part. But I don't want to really only focus about the preconceived notion of what a manuscript might be, because poets don't even write in English or French or Russian or Polish or Spanish. Poets write in the language of poetic devices, in images and metaphors and rhymes and rhymes, in alliterations and assonances. It's useful for me when I think about writing process to think more about the sister arts, say music or painting or sculpture. When Marc Chagall is making his art, he doesn't think, oh, what am I trying to paint? He thinks about yellow and green and red. And you see what I'm saying? When Michelangelo comes to a block of stone to make David, he keeps cutting and cutting and cutting until he finds David. But before he found David, he needs to find the right stone. So poets are obsessed with poetic devices, and I wanted to write elegies for a while, I wanted to write lyrics for a while, I wanted to write love poems for a long time. You know, the war came in my life and I didn't expect it at all. I thought I'm a happy person. Okay, but then Ukraine and Russia are at war. So those things just come in your life. And was there a preconceived notion? Of course there was. I come from a country that no longer exists, USSR. All of my childhood, completely all of it, happened there. Poets are not born in countries, they're born in childhood. But when a country of your childhood no longer exists, you keep thinking about it. So of course those obsessions were influencing the lyrics, but I would never want to tell a poet, you have to go make a concept out of which to write a poem. You write a poem out of joy of language, out of tragedy of language. That's my response.
Very good. You kind of answered my first question already, so I'm going to just move on to the third question that we talked about. There's a fascinating juxtaposition between fate and free will throughout your collection, as well as a complexity in the appeals to God that occur. For example, in the lines, I, this body into which the hand of God plunges, empty-chested stand, Alfonso metaphorically becomes the puppet and God the puppeteer. Other lines such as, Lord, such fire from a match you never lit, seem to comment on the free will or agency that the townspeople may or may not possess in the face of a brutal invasion. In the poem, A City Like a Guillotine Shivers on Its Way to the Neck, the townspeople accuse God at the trial of God by asking, why did you allow all this? But the answer comes echoing right back at the townspeople, why did you allow all this? The book's dramatic action seems not only to implicate and accuse the townspeople, but also to plunge them unwillingly into the betrayals of a disastrous fate. How did you conceptualize the presentation of God's role in relation to the people of Asenko among those complicated dualities of fate versus free will in a time of military occupation?
You know, if I could answer that question, I wish.
You could fight with God.
Sure. I'm afraid I don't conceptualize God, as in God conceptualizes me. In the free time from conceptualizing everybody else, of course. I think we're really speaking about two kinds of poetry here. We are speaking about civic poetry and devotional poetry. Both of those are children of lyric poem, of a lyric poem. The eye on the world is very much a lyric impulse, right? Whether it is eye on the country or eye on the universe. And when we read the Psalms, we see it in the valley of the shadow of death, right? I am non-existence. I am the end of me. What is that? For me, those things really are happening on a daily basis, not on a large concept basis. The concept of God, if such a phrase could be made, is different on different days of our lives. We speak to one God when we are happy, and another God when somebody in our family dies and we no longer know what to do. Or when somebody is ill and you're praying for illness to stop. Or when you see an apple tree bloom. That's a very different kind of addresses. And I would be lying if I would say that I had a preconceived notion of God and how I wanted God to appear in the book. I'm lucky enough to write a poem. You kneel and pray to make the poem happen. And if there's a God in the poem, okay, you got very lucky. And for some people it will work, for others it won't. But I do think that a poem is an uttering. That uttering can be a song, it can be a whisper, it can be a scream. It's often a scream. I think we often forget in Western tradition that poetry didn't just begin with one blind man in Greece telling us the story of their tribe. The poetry began with wailing songs. It began with lullabies. It began with prayers. When a child was having a hard time falling to sleep, mother was half praying for the child to fall asleep and half talking to that child. And is it a prayer or is it a lullaby? You see what I'm saying? So I'm a lot less interested in dividing. Okay, here I'm talking about God, here I'm talking about war, and here I'm talking about children. I'm more interested in the mix of it all. And again, as a poet, far more interested in music, in the joys, in little joys of discoveries of a day. Dylan Thomas had a rule. If I write one good line today, I'm a poet. So that's my ambition. One good
I'm with you.
line per day.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, let's try another one here. This probably will be our final question. Some of the most affecting poems in Deaf Republic remind us that human kindness and affection go on even during times of upheaval and violence. In particular, the love poems featuring Alfonso and Sonia, and I think you read both of them. Before the War, We Made a Child, and While the Child Sleeps, Sonia Undresses. They make good examples, along with the praise of simple pleasures like the summer salad the speaker makes in the book's closing poem. The poet Thomas Transtromer says that to write a poem which celebrates the richness of the private life is in itself an inherently political act. Do you agree with Transtromer about that?
Well, Transtromer was a great poet. She's an interesting poet because she has such a relatively short body of work. What about 300, between 300 and 200 poems, really? And in that relatively small body of work, he's able to create a poetic voice like no one else's. Do I agree with him on that? Well, he had some poems that had to do with struggle in Eastern Europe, about the Baltics, where his family comes from, and some very meditative prayer-like poems or psychological poems. So I don't even know if Transtromer agrees with Transtromer if you look at his poems. But I think something to be said about that statement. It's a beautiful statement. I think that statement has two sides. It doesn't just speak about the poem of pleasure, but it also speaks about the poem of not being able to have pleasure because something else stands in the way. I think it might be interesting that quote, especially for us in the United States, really leads to the question of what is a political poem. Because political poem is a term that only exists in the United States and part of Western Europe. It doesn't really exist anywhere else in the world. And that tells us something about ourselves. that we have to divide political poem from poem of pleasure. Say. Anywhere else, there is no division. Everything is political. And in some ways, Transformer is speaking about that too. I think, of course, we write poems of joy. And sometimes people die and we don't write poems of joy.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I think that brings us very close to 8 o'clock. So I'm going to thank you very much, Ilya, for everything, for writing this wonderful book that I've so much enjoyed and been deeply moved by, and just taken in many different directions by. And I also want to mention to everyone that I think in the chat, we'll present a connection so that if people want to buy books, your book, there will be a connection posted there. And I see plenty of people in the chat are thanking you as well. So thank you so much for being our prize winner. Thank you for writing Deaf Republic, and thank you for being here with us this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here with you. And thanks to everybody else who's here in the room. Thank you for being with us, truly.